Hey guys, how's it going? There it is. I see it live now. Yeah.
Yes.
Welcome back, guys.
Hello, one and all, or all of you is just one. I mean, is a collective watching us? Well, they might be. They might be seeing what we're going to say about them because let's talk about the Borg in this episode. So, are we fans? Are we not? Are we a shill for the Borg collective, or are we a balanced review? Who knows? Who knows?
Yes. Yes. So, yes, guys, we're starting season 4 today, and we're going to be talking about part 2 of Best of Both Worlds.
Season 4 now. We made it.
Yes.
And as I said, pretty Stuart, you're bringing sexy back in season 4. You're upping your game, I think.
Yeah, well.
Look at that shirt.
Anyway, yeah. So, welcome back, guys. Got a bunch of super chats already, which is great. So I'll read those off. I'll start reading those. Olivia Julius, $5.
Oh wow, we have got loads. Cool.
What's that?
We got loads actually. Cool. Thanks, guys. That's awesome.
Sorry, I won't make it for the live. I have to wake up early tomorrow morning and drive. But here's $5 to make you feel better. Thank you, Olivia. That being said, Olivia will be here for the full thing because she's kind of going under the moderator's wing. She might become a moderator at some point. So welcome, Olivia, to that. Have fun today. She decided she's going to be here. So.
And I'm going to start sharing just so we can get going in this. So you can say hi and do the super chats. And I'll be listening so I can react to stuff.
Yes. She also puts in $2 and says, also love the abs on the armor. Yes, you do. Look, I got a little QMX Locutus. She also puts in $2. It's very detailed. It's very nice. Ozzy Maderos, $5. Today's episode is brought to you by Miss Olivia Picard Fertilizers. Who knows where your skeleton hands? Who knows where your... What? I'm so confused by that. Thank you, Ozzy. There's another $5. All hail Superior Commander and Super Captain Foley, skeleton crew. Report to the bridge, skeleton hands. Report to the battle bridge. Wow. Ozzy. Mark Lawrence, $20. Amazing, Mark. Thank you very much. Easy fix for the Borg assimilated at Wolf 359, showing up on Voyager after the battle, but before the D cut up and destroyed them, the Borg could have launched a sphere to preserve the new drones with data on the Federation. Yeah, I'd buy that. Erevic Sonder, $1. Thank you very much. No comment though, but thank you. And Olivia Julius, another $5. Only 30 likes before the stream. Come on, we can get to 50. Hashtag make Olivia pay. There's a new thing now. So yes, 47 people here. Everybody make sure you hit that like button. Let's get those up. Now, guys, as you know, super chats are important. They're a great way to support the channel. So I want to thank everybody that's already done that. I really appreciate that. And don't forget to also support us by either joining the channel or heading over to Patreon. You can also send PayPal. There's lots of great ways to help us out. You can check out the description in every video for that information, and lots of great ways to help yourself out as well. You got discount codes for Eagle Moss and a bunch of other great stuff. So yeah, looking forward to you guys checking that stuff out. Go check out the Teespring store stuff and let me know what you think of the shirts, because I should probably make some new shirt designs. That might be a thing that I should do. Or that is a thing I should do. Matthew K, $10. I just wanted to feel involved. Well, thank you, Matthew. Jeff Jacobs, $2. Make Olivia pay. I love the sound of that. And 50. So let's get to 50. We have 57 people watching. We should hit 50 likes very easily. So let's do it. Thumbs up. Let's do it. Assimilate that like button, guys. But yeah, Olivia Julius, $2. We got to 50 in 5 minutes. Can we get to 100? Wow, that's awesome, guys. Thank you very much. We don't usually get to 50 quite that quick, but that is awesome. Yeah, let's strive for that 100, guys. Let's see how many more people show up for the live now that he's sharing. We should get a few more people in here and yeah, get this show on the road. Hopefully this one won't be as long as part 1, because part 1 was almost Stelio. Lots of new ships. I expect an hour on that scene. We'll try not to focus on the Battle of 359 scene too much. We know there's lots of ships there, but I think part 1 was almost 3 hours. I don't know if this one is going to be close to 3 hours for the review. Trying to keep it not so. But yeah.
So Stuart.
Yes.
What did you think of Best of Both Worlds Part 2? And the bigger question is, how did it compare to your memories of it?
Remember last time I said I think Part 2 won't be as good as Part 1?
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to admit when I'm wrong. And this one really was very good. I remembered a lot of the stuff that happened, obviously, but it felt kind of anticlimactic after the build-up. Looking forward to what was coming. It's actually very well done. This is jam-packed full of dialogue, and
it's a talkie for some reason.
yeah, and it's paced really well. That being said, there's a few anticlimactic moments, and it seems to get wrapped up rather quickly. But that's a TNG trope, right? So,
actually, you poo-pooed it, and you're like, not as bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I think a lot of that, though, is this baggage thing, this nostalgia baggage. You remember it at the time, and also you remember watching it after the fact as a 1 then 2 instantly. Whereas we gave this a day or two to process, and because everyone in the world watched it, part 2, and then everyone else after that for a while, part 1, part 2 syndication. So you got to. I think it's best to kind of watch part 1, part 2, like to appreciate both parts. If you want the full story all in one go, but appreciate them as separate entities because they are very, very separate entities. And so, what did you? So you liked it then? How? Not there's too much spoilers, but compared to part 1, if you had to say, mostly as good, half as good, almost as good, good but different. Like, give me some vague sense of that as well, because they're very different.
Yeah, I would say for me, it's a little bit better than part 1, just slightly.
Real reversal here, Stuart. Wow.
Yep.
Jesus.
The thing is,
like Stuart saying, I hate part 2. I fucking hate part 2. It's better.
I didn't say I hate it. I just didn't think it would be as good as part 1. And yeah, the thing is, because when I was watching just part 1 as part 1, I remember the hype and the the excitement of the first watch, right?
Yep.
And not knowing what was going to happen for months.
Yep.
And then coming back and knowing there's an entire season after this, it's like, oh well, yeah. Okay, fine. But after watching it this time around and doing it for review purposes, there's a lot in here. There's a lot of technobabble and stuff as well, but I think this is a very well acted piece. A lot of the characters kind of turn on a dime. Like Shelby's all of a sudden likable. Like it's really weird. Riker has a new hairstyle, which is fine.
Yeah, he had more like floof at the front, didn't he?
Yeah.
I was wondering about that.
Yep. So
I'm not crazy, thank you.
No, you're not. Well, you are, but you're not in this regard. So yeah, I mean, this one it's got a lot of cool special effects. Just the makeup for Locutus and things like that, and the hookup between Data and Picard, that was really well done. And you can't. There it is. Props and attention to detail they put into the show is actually quite incredible. And I'm impressed. Yeah.
Cool. Now, do you also think, though, you had low expectations because you thought going in you were not going to like it? And you can't help but think that if you think you're not going to, you think it was better than you thought, and therefore...
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it was. Going in with that kind of low expectation and realizing that it is very well done. The fact that they wrote themselves out of this corner and the way they did it was quite impressive. So, you got to look at that too. So,
yeah. And what else is quite impressive, Stuart, is that we've got a full week of Star Trek Lower Deck shows. Today we released the USS Cerritos Bridge first look. We're already at almost 2,000 views. Do click on that. They're great little informative little pieces looking at stuff, bits and bobs, and we've got a really great reaction so far. So just pimp that and check out every day, normal time, 5 p.m. GMT for new review, new episodes. Please do, please do. But yeah, so my thoughts, Stuart. Part 1 doesn't deserve the hype. Part 2 is a very interesting beast because it feels very different. It feels a lot cheaper. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't know where the budget went this week because they reused almost all these space shots. All the sets are reused. The costume is obviously enhanced but reused. There's no new set specifically. It feels quite cheap. and the only scene that feels of any money is 2 shots, and it's the same shot twice, just without some foreground elements of the fleet. And that was just Rick Sternbach and his team doing it. Like, that wasn't. I'm sure they didn't get paid like 10 million to do that. So it feels a very cheap episode. There's a little bit of new shots with the battle bridge stuff, but I'm sure they'll try and reuse anything they can from, Farpoint and existing model shots, because moving that apart that's the big miniature again. That is an expensive thing. So I don't know where the money went here. I'm guessing they didn't write an expensive story because they knew they wanted to do bigger and better things. And this was, like I said, they were in a corner. They can't really show the battle, and they can't really show Earth, and they can't really show the Borg. So let's not try. Let's save that money for cool stuff later on where we can achieve exactly what we're set up to. So, whereas part 1 felt expensive, the matte painting at the start, the new Borg sets, all the costumes, like, in comparison, way more expensive. So I'm confused by that. But
I was going to let them at the end as well, of seeing Earth and no space dock, no other ships, no anything in orbit. Just there's vanilla Earth with a moon. It's like, really?
Yeah, I have no idea why they didn't add it in the remasters. Just a shot of the miniature, the space dock as it goes to. Like, these are obvious things you would have to add. It's weird they didn't. This episode, it's not great, but what it benefits from part 1 is it's very focused in comparison. Part 1 is all over the place. It wastes a ton of its runtime, stuff doesn't mean anything. This one, hyper focused, but also this one kind of ruins the Borg as an enemy. I've already kind of forgotten how good they were in Q Who, because they are scary and unbeatable and one-minded. Last week they were after Picard, and they never chose to kill the Enterprise at any point. So they kind of like, but they got Picard at the end. Great. This week, they're always a bit shit. Like in every single scene, they either choose not to kill the Enterprise, even while multiple times shields are down. It's hard not to think future Borg, because if shields are down, they're beaming in to assimilate. Like, they could have assimilated them at any point, they didn't. They could have destroyed them at any point, they didn't. They could have attacked Earth, they didn't. They could have, Locutus, why, again, you think future Trek, as soon as he's woken up by Beverly, he punches somebody, nanoprobes, boom, they're done for. Like, all these things make the Borg look super stupid and bad. And yes, they killed Wolf 359, but off-screen, I only see 5 or 6 Hulks, which isn't as impressive as you think it is, having seen DS9 and such. So the Borg, I think, were really dismantled here. This great threat got defeated super easily. Locutus got unborgified in a few seconds. Picard managed to outdo, like, the Picard brain outdid assimilation, which, okay, fine. Just super weak villain, and I don't think it gets scary again until Voyager, because we don't see him really in TNG, except until the ones with Data's brother, and those aren't good. So not until Voyager the Borg good again. And then First Contact they're really good. So they really effed up the Borg in this episode. Like, this is the big villain. Really
this was before they were the big villain, though. Like,
I know.
Like, yeah, it would have been cool because he was on board the Enterprise. It would have been terrifying to have him, like, start assimilating the ship.
Do anything. Just do anything. Yeah. And the fact that the Borg actively try and kill Locutus, because when they're trying to escape, they actively fire at the shuttle, not knowing they're going to escape, so they were going to kill Locutus. Like, all this time trying to get him, didn't even care. He wasn't even important. Like, it really devalues the idea of the Borg, and what a big letdown, seriously, to the Borg. The episode's probably pretty good, but yeah, they did not do the Borg well in this episode.
Joshua Clark, $5. Rest in peace, Grant Imahara, #Mythbusters. Yeah, it was sad.
Way too young and way too nice a guy.
Yeah. Lieutenant Miles O'Brien, $1 with a cool face. It's Jill. He's a lieutenant in this one. So, Danny Shields, €10. The hookup between Data and Picard was really well done. I do not remember that scene.
The hookup? What, Danny? What?
Oh, he's quoting me, and I meant the neural link between the two of them. I think it was cool to see it in the lab and to see that.
It's just too easy. It's just really absurdly easy, and also it makes a mockery of later Trek because the Borg Queen's like, Data, you're so advanced. 7 years later, android, inferior, you are the old order. It's like, but the Queen was also on this. Oh, okay. Doesn't work. Doesn't really work. Look at Stuart's lovely face there. Yes, Picard's the tier with Picard's face. That was great. And down to 3, yes, using other ships from. That'd been good. So anyway, first of all, also no shot. Supposed to yes, mistake as well. Hello.
I'm back.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the problem with retconning is this looks bad in my comparison, but you can't. You got to think of it at the time, kind of thing.
But like even at the time, they didn't assimilate anybody else. They didn't try any ship, any person. What were they going to Earth to do then? Like I don't think they could even explain what the Borg's plan was. Like even like you were saying, they must surrender. What does surrender mean? Like, is it assimilate or surrender? Like they don't know what they want the Borg to do, and it's very obvious in the story that it's scrambled. You know, weird.
Area 51, $10. I can't say. Dropping some change for my Uncle Jerry. Passed away from pancreatic cancer today. Husband, father, grandfather, uncle, Vietnam veteran on his way to Stovacor. Very sorry to hear that, but thank you for stopping by Area 51 and our condolences.
Yeah, seriously.
And Justin Hampton, $2. Remember DC Comics' worst of both worlds in the 90s? No, I don't remember.
Good name, though.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
Yes.
So last time on,
yes,
it ends with Mr. Worf fire. So we get the big graviton beam.
And I love that because they're on the call with Locutus, and he just stands there watching. Because that's the they don't ever after the initial edit back to Locutus standing there awkwardly. You're like, your eyes are just looking at each other while they're shooting. He's just locking eyes with the Borg, and the Borg doesn't say anything. It's really weird. Like
they might have had picture in picture. Like Locutus went really small into the corner, and then you see the thing hitting. Who knows?
Oh, it's just funny.
Andrew Sepp, $5. I had 8 people watching in my army barracks room back in December 1990. In a rerun, we all just finished getting out of basics a few weeks. There you go. That's a cool memory.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see this sort of thing bring people together because we win. You know, yeah.
Sushi Juice throws in an amazing $50 super chat.
The purple.
Thank you very much.
Damn sushi.
I'm curious what the show would have looked like if Stewart's contract hadn't been renewed. Frakes taking command and periodic cameos from Stewart like Denise Crosby as Locutus keeps haunting the old crew. Would have been interesting to say the least. Absolutely. And somewhere out there there's a parallel dimension where that happened.
Yeah, and I was thinking in the scenes where Guiana's talking to Riker, they're written in such a way as if Picard isn't going to come back. And all I kept thinking is if this is the real scene, that's powerful. It kind of loses a bit of strength. We know he's just going to be right back to this week. But if you watch them, like, I can imagine they were written before they didn't even know necessarily. You know, it's like, damn, yeah, you know, throw the book away. We're no longer Star Trek TNG, we're Star Trek Riker. One thing that really caught me about this episode this time round, because as soon as you see the graviton beam, right, it does literally nothing to the ship. Like, nothing, right? That it's everything they try and do, anybody in the entire episode, is because this is the first Federation officer they've ever assimilated, he understands how the tech works, at least in the vagaries, right? So if they hadn't assimilated him, the fleet probably would have been much more effective. It's because they've assimilated all of the knowledge of the stuff. Like, it's just because of Locutus was the thought I got here. That's the reason they can just do anything and go. That's even why they have the shields up later, at least the EM field stop beaming. Like, they understand how tech works now more than they did, I guess, when they scanned the tech in Q. Okay, maybe not.
Well, that's the reason this whole deflector graviton beam thing is so anticlimactic, because Picard knew the plan, so they were prepared for it.
Yeah. Which
Lieutenant
is
Miles
a good
O'Brien,
reason, but, you know. Yeah.
It's in $2. Picard's grayed face with tears still destroys me.
Yes.
And Jill, I'm kind of disappointed in your name today. I thought it would be, I like my species the way it is. That's the one I was going to bet for if I had to bet money on what your screen name would be today, Jill. Anywho. So yeah, they fire, and basically the warp reactor is going to have a primary coolant failure. So they have to shut it down. And it's just like, oh, wow, great. So shutting down warp engines.
And all I couldn't help but think was, this shot of Locutus saying a few things, and in very much a human cadence. So he even says number one, which is definitely a good line to like get to the audience. But you're wondering why? Don't know why. But what I kept thinking is this is the exact same shot as last year's shot. So are these the same extras they brought back in to play the same Borg? Like it'd be fun to do them side by side. So is the guy on the left is still the guy on the left? You know, because it's the same moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Devo 77X, we saw that world in parallels. Riker was in command and Worf is first officer, and they mentioned him being assimilated into Locutus. So there you go.
Yeah, well done. Nice. This is one of those first early problems, is that the Borg then just leave them. They don't assimilate the crew, they don't destroy the ship. Even though Picard knows everything about the ship and therefore would be the perfect time to attack them and whatever them, there's no reason. Like, this is one of those just things of, 'cause plot. Like, just, why would you not assimilate the ship, use it to help them attack Earth, or destroy it as you do everything else? Like, there's not even a reason given, they just go. And that completely ruins the Borgs, anything they do. Like, they're obviously a threat. Well, I guess they're not, but, like, they could be a threat. You know, it doesn't, it's the instant plot hole. They couldn't even give a reason for them to leave, you know? Couldn't even bother.
And Jill says you're expecting Worf quips now, so I have to do something out of left field instead. No, I'm not expecting Worf quips. I'm expecting funny or good, memorable quotes from the episode. It doesn't have to be Worf related at all.
Although a lot of them
that was just the best one out of this episode. So, well, yeah, a lot of them are, but a lot of them are also data related.
Yeah.
Russell Archer, $5.
Thank you.
Borg had a simple plan for primitive civilizations: destroy the central government, come back in force to tear down the warring tribes.
But they didn't do that, so. But what do you think about the reason why they might have left the Enterprise? Like, again.
They were. Yeah, I don't know. That's a very good point, because the Enterprise is out of commission at this point. Because they even say in a second that the shields are down. The shields aren't operative, and neither is the warp drive. So, maybe Picard's humanity kind of corrupted them a little. We should destroy these guys, and Picard like. And the collective going, no, let's go away. Ooh.
That is definitely possible, but I wish he'd said that for the 40 ships in about 12 hours to get massacred.
Well, by that time, they've kind of quieted him down and pushed him.
It's possible, but it would have been better if they had one drone be on board, go into engineering with the fully like shielded self, and then disable the ship properly. Like, would have been like they even could have reused the footage from Q Who, you know. I like your reasoning, but that's a little bit of a logical leap. Whereas it's very abrupt, you know.
Yeah, it is. Ginkgo Yoki, $5. Borg not assimilating the Enterprise because it is no longer a threat. It's viewed its goal as now paramount, so they left them alone. I always hated that whole we don't see it as a threat, so we don't do anything about it, because that's just dumb.
Because Picard knows they are a threat.
Yep.
Because they're resilient.
Yep. Resilient little fuckers. So yeah, they're unable to pursue because they burned out their navigational deflector, damaged shields, and the reactor core. We should be back up in 8 to 12 hours. And so we're going to be late to the party for Wolf 359, and the Admiral's like, well, get here when you can. You've given us a lot of valuable time. So they mobilized 40 ships to meet at Wolf 359, and that's just for starters. The Klingons are sending warships, and they've even thought about contacting the Romulans.
That was such a nice moment. The Klingons are sending ships, but it's never anythinged. Yep. I guess they never arrive. I know there is a line in another something they say did arrive and they were destroyed too, but so you would think that would be a thing. It's really weird, you know? Such a cool moment, but it's completely nothing. Yeah, and I don't mind the time jump in this as much, because we know they're 3 days away from Earth, plus some, as in minus some time they've already travelled. So 12 hours of repair. I guess we can assume the Borg won't go at full speed because the Enterprise catches up with them within a half a day. But I mean, at this point, they can just chillax. You know? Mm-hmm. They're not trying to outrun or even run anybody.
Yeah. So they basically have a discussion like, have we given up on Picard? Well, the Admiral's like, no, he's got determination. I whatever.
Well, no, he does say. He does say we're not. You know, he's counted as a lost officer. He was the most strong guy ever, but
yeah, and he does say there's no way that he would ever assist the Borg. I want that clear. It's like, well, not on.
He doesn't understand the Borg, does he?
No,
he didn't ever read any of Shelby's reports. It's like that's the whole point of them, Admiral. God damn.
Well, they've written him off as casualty because they're going to destroy that cube at Wolf 359. That's the Admiral's thinking.
Yeah.
So.
And it's fair though when they say I'm even going to try and rescue him. It's like Beverly, what's just happened today? They destroyed a ship. You went after them. They disabled you 3 times in a row. They didn't destroy you 3 times in a row. You did nothing to them at any point, any way, and they kidnapped your captain, and you can't even chase after them. What are you going to try and do? Like, it's a miracle you haven't been killed 3-4 times now. Like, I love her ambition, but you have no plan and no ability to do anything. So her saying I've given up, it's like, yes, you can't do anything, Beverly. Like, you failed every time. Worse than fail, actually.
Well, Ginkgo Yoki puts in $5. 40 ships at Wolf 359, including the Saratoga. I always think about what that when I see this episode and shake my head. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Riker gets his field commission to captain.
Which is a nice moment, actually.
The Enterprise is yours now, so congratulations.
That was one of the themes of last episode, so the fact is that we have got that continuing thread, which is good. One of the only ones.
And then we get the shot on the Borg ship with Picard lying on the bed.
Yep.
And it gets a scan of his frontal lobe, and then he gets his hand, which they were originally going to amputate the arm and put on an artificial one, but then they decided not to do that for some reason.
Patrick said no.
Oh, well, that would have been kind of cool.
I would sacrifice my arm for this role. God damn it.
Oh. Yes. And then they do whatever they did to his skin. I guess it's... What is that? Like introducing the nanites? Whatever. Anyway, yeah, his skin goes all pale, and then you see one little fake tear come down. It's quite obviously fake, but...
Yeah, this is a scene I definitely forget. I remember him being transformed, but to actually cut into the Borg ship from their perspective is very unheard of. So I liked that a lot. And these sets, I think, are lit better than last time. They feel more vibrant. So I appreciate that. Although when we just had the last time on, and as the Borg, you see the Borg ship flying, there's always beautiful green inner glows that really stand out. But in this, for some reason, in this part too, they're just white glows that don't pop out at all. The cube looks a lot worse in flight. It's the exact same clip, but they color grade it differently. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I like these shots. These are good. But also, it's so strange to see them just like... So what, they just stick a thing on and then it goes click, as if... What is it clicking to? And is he operating it? Like, they're trying to be cool, but it actually looks kind of stupid. And it's an absolutely absurd arm that looks fucking stupid. It's a pathetic arm prop. The top bit's fine, but it just looks like it's an elephant arm. It's like, hello! No, it's absolutely... What were they thinking? Well, they weren't thinking. Stupid. The thing, we need batteries the size of a bloody... Whatever. But the skin thing's great, and the crying is a beautiful touch. That's probably one of the best moments of the episode is the cry. Because it's a great way of showing he's in there, but it's a more just a reaction to stimuli that his humanity is not gone. Even if he can't feel, his body feels and reacts. That's a good moment. Although, yeah, he doesn't feel as transformed like he should in later episodes. Like, the Borg transformed, and this is just like, they just stuck a thing to his face, made him hold something, and then changed his skin pigment, all of which were changeable in 45 minutes. So it doesn't feel anywhere as invasive as it used to.
The Borg are just, using the Star Trek Online thing where you get to change your character. They're just like testing stuff out.
When is the bit that they stab his eye? When's that?
It never happens.
Oh. Because I remember them stabbing their eye. Oh my god, that's a stab eye. It was gross, but I guess that didn't happen.
Not here. That's in First Contact.
Okay, there you go.
It's a flashback or a dream to this. Yeah.
Because they're going into what they can, but it doesn't feel like an assimilation so much as they just sort of stuck stuff on him.
Yeah. James McGill, $5. After assimilating Picard, new tactical info had Borg intercept the fleet ASAP before more ships join in. Enterprise ceased to be an immediate threat. I like that. That's a good reason why the Borg cube split, to get to Wolf 359 quicker, so there's less ships to deal with. And I totally buy that. I like that. So thank you very much, James. I appreciate that.
The problem is one torpedo could destroy the Enterprise. So not killing it is illogical. Calling it not a threat, I think, is Picard would know better. Riker's a threat, Dave's a threat, Worf's a threat. I mean, he knows better. The Borg should know better. It's just lazy writing / they're the heroes. Like I said, if they had...
Just tractor beam it, go to warp with it, and just start slicing it apart when you're in warp.
Seriously,
all I would drop pieces away.
All I would have done to make it more interesting is have one Borg drone beam aboard and disable the ship from the inside, allowing it to be like, as if they're in a spider's web and the spider poisoned you and made you be disabled, so the Borg will come to you later and assimilate you properly. That's all you need, and then you can have a great bit of the story of them trying to take out a drone, and they use that drone to work out a way of stopping the main drones because they get to dissect it, whatever, rather than just saying, bye. It's like, well, I guess they're not really a threat then, are they? Like, every time they leave them, they're less of a threat, and it's every single time these two-parters.
Yeah, it never made sense why they only came with one cube, too, but that's neither here nor there. Anywho, next scene, we got Worf and Riker having a talk, and Wesley's designed a chip that'll retune the phasers after each firing to a random setting.
Yep. And Riker's now a captain. He has the pips and everything. This is the only time he's ever Captain Riker as an active Captain Riker in canon. We never see him that again. Until maybe, hopefully, Picard Season 2.
Yeah, so then the whole conversation comes up of now that we're just not fighting the Borg, we're also feeding everything that Captain Picard knows. How the hell do we defeat an enemy that knows us better than we know ourselves? Yeah, so...
And the solution is just do it.
Yes.
Just do it. It's easy. And then we have the first bit of Shelby, and she lost all of her edge. Like, she's absolutely been neutered, and she's basically nothing in this episode in terms of actual plot or... Like, even as the second officer in a few scenes, she offers one suggestion, and she gives a few orders. She's completely redundant this week, even though she really could have kind of kicked ass. And it's weird to see these sorts of little scenes that just don't... Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's a totally different character for her in this episode, which bugs me a little bit, but...
Because it's the next day. Like, it hasn't been any time. You know? It's like tonally in Star Wars, the Force Awakens and Last Jedi, to say the First Order is a weak force, and then 1 minute later the First Order is destroying the galaxy. It's like, but they weren't yesterday. How is today? You've ignored the last film, you idiots.
And Christopher Owen says Wesley using his Mary Sue powers again. Yeah, he does kind of have that. Like, why couldn't somebody else have developed this chip? Anyway,
well, Shelby did.
Seems like a natural progression.
Well, Shelby did, but she had to manually do it, whereas he worked out an automatic solution. So she's not an engineer. She used her idea, just did it technically. So I'm okay with that. And it wouldn't have worked unlimitedly. Like, they only shoot a couple of Borg, so it's not as if there's like a 10-minute firefight of them killing Borg. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And Barclay's reference. Him and Shelburne are running final testing sequences on the deflector now. So Barclay's mentioned, so Barclay's here on board.
Didn't even catch that, so thanks for reminding me.
They're going to be back to operating capacity in 2 to 3 hours. And then is there anything else, sir? Well, you did a good job on the Borg ship. You gave us our shot, essentially. I know you didn't get Picard back, but you gave us our shot.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'd like to keep me on my toes. So, yeah.
I like the way he gives her credit, even for a failed plan, because it wasn't her fault.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even mention... Because in the last episode, he would have said, great plan. Well done for doing the plan. Didn't work, did it? But good job for trying a plan. But in this one, he's very sincere, But there's really weird editing in this scene. It feels like they shot it 2 ways. Because Riker goes from being this... Oh, yeah, Picard is really good. Oh yeah, we had a great time. Like literally, it intercuts from her saying something to him being both very smiley as if she's a friend, and then back to being serious. Like, see,
Oh
episode
yeah.
one. It's really weird editing. It's
Well,
very obnoxious.
yeah. When he says you got to keep me on my toes, she's like, some might define that as the role of a first officer, and he's like, "Damn, you are ambitious, aren't you, Shelby?" And he gets the big smile on his face.
And right back.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, she was trying to be ambitious anyway. I felt like a reminding the audience, like, because like, yeah, yesterday she told you yesterday she told you she wanted to be the first officer of the Enterprise, and now you're reminding her of that. Just like that happened yesterday, Riker. You know she does.
No, it happened 3 or 4 months ago. Got to remember, it's been a summer in between here.
Fair enough. Now, have you captured his weird double faces? Because his serious face is so serious. Like even his eyes, it's like dark and depressing, and then suddenly, hey, it's really weird.
Yeah. He's talking about their experience with the Borg, and then you have a lot to learn, Commander. And then as much as I needed to learn, and he eases up again. It's like, wow, just what?
I bet it was 2 different takes, and they just mess up the editing.
Oh, maybe. Anyway, yeah. So then we get Borg have engaged the Federation fleet at Wolf 359. So Riker takes off to the bridge, and we got Admiral Hansen on subspace. Sort of. Fight does not go well, Enterprise. We're attempting to withdraw and regroup. Rendezvous with fleet. And gets cut out.
Yeah. What I find odd about this tone contextually is that they say they've engaged the Borg, and between the time it takes Riker to get from engineering to the bridge, they're losing. So they lose within seconds. Like it's heavily implied. It's just like a torpedo destroyed. I mean, they are losing like it's the same hour. I know other sources imply that there's several fleet attacks and it takes days and days or hours and hours, but the way this scene plays, it's within. I don't know if you got the same vibe, but it feels like a fist like hit a brick wall made of. That should be a big solid brick wall, but that's made of polystyrene because of Picard's knowledge to just smash right through it. Nothing at all could stop it.
I never got the sense that it happened that quickly. No, I think that they finally got word from Wolf 359 that they had finally engaged the Borg. I don't know how long that was happening. I don't know if they're actually moving towards them at this point at low warp.
Not at warp yet. That's the next scene.
Oh, so yeah.
Okay.
A couple minutes anyway, I guess.
But I can't imagine if the Borg actually wanted to destroy them, it wouldn't take very long. I mean, especially if you have their shield frequencies. I mean, it shouldn't, as in just the vague Federation ones, it should be pretty quick. But I remember this being a bigger battle.
They got Picard's knowledge now, so.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I remember this being a bigger battle in this episode, but they just, like, it happens and they just roll right over it. It's a very small part of this episode. It's weird. I remember being big. It's not. It's really not.
You're thinking of the beginning of Deep Space Nine.
Well, yeah.
Brian Strait,
first contact.
Yeah. Brian Strait, $10. After a great season cliffhanger with a grand climax, we get followed up with an It's Okay, We Can Just Cuddle Part 2. Still good and probably the best of the cliffhanger season openers. There's a few things in here that kind of speak to what I was saying last week that are kind of anticlimactic, but yeah. So yes, repairs are complete and they're warping to rendezvous with Wolf 359. Communications with the battle have been cut off, so this is where he talks to the crew and says, this is kind of weird, but right now I need your experience at tactical. Commander Data, I realize nature much a bit, whatever. I seriously considered you for first officer, but this is not the time for change. I need all of you where you are, where Captain Picard always relied on you. I find that the dumbest goddamn line ever. The Borg have all of Captain Picard's knowledge. Shuffle the deck. Make it so that it's not as predictable. You know what I mean? Because Picard knows how everybody's going to react at each station. They have more of an upper hand if they move people around.
I know why you're saying that, but that's their best station. It's like saying we're going to a war, let's put our medic as gunner. Let's put our gunner as, radar operator.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, with them having all of Picard's knowledge, and then him saying, I want you you've always been with Picard. It's kind of counterintuitive. but
Well,
I know what you mean.
but as we know, Picard having knowledge of them makes no difference anyway. So the scene doesn't matter because it doesn't matter Picard's knowledge. It makes no difference to them at all. What it really says to I have to know what you're saying. And if the episode was focused on the battle later, you could have a really nice element where, like how you have in heist movies, you have the double bluff. You see a thing and then it's revealed, oh, another thing because this person is the they think another thing. That would have been kind of great if Lacusse is like, I knew that you would have Data do that, and it's revealed, no, Guinan, motherfucker, she was there instead. That would have been great. It's very straightforward instead. But it is weird, like, even on Worf's face, he's like, you'll give it to Shelby? She's been on the ship 3 days, and she's not... She's never been in charge of anything except a research division on a starbase.
Well,
what do you... Like, she's not even remotely qualified for this, except in rank. And rank does not mean you're qualified for something, it just means you're recognized for an achievement.
Worf and Data both kind of look at each other when he promotes her to the first officer. It's like, what did he just say? Even Data does it.
But she's not qualified.
No.
I mean, Data's barely qualified in the sense that he hasn't necessarily got intuition. And you can still have second command officer at tactical. Wouldn't change the job at all for the single battle, especially if you think you're going to die in one battle. It's a weird scene to focus on because, again, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, they chose focus here rather than later. Like, it's okay, and it's nice that the crew interact. But it's a weird thing to include.
Jeff Jacobs, $5. Today's episode is brought to you by Olivia's Dress Shop, helping you be the cutest girl at the prom. Ad brought by Olivia Julius, aka Jeff 2.0. Nice.
Love it.
Ginkgo Yoki, $5. Actor who portrayed Admiral Hansen had a Star Trek past. He also portrayed God in Star Trek V.
And I just double checked that, and yes, actually did. Wow.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah. So here we have the conversation. She's like, well, what about the heavy graviton beam we were talking about? And Geordi's like, no, gone over it 4 times. It wouldn't work.
I was confused about that. What didn't they just do that? Like, when were they mentioning a graviton beam?
That's what I thought too.
It's like a second beam that... What? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a weird line to have for no reason.
Then we can jump to Data, who says that Dr. Crusher and I have been working on a premise, and our recent experience with nanotechnology might be able to introduce destructive nanites into the Borg. And Shelby's like, nanites? Robots, small enough to enter living cells. Like, she didn't know what a nanite was, and she's been a Borg researcher. I mean, even if they don't have nanites at this point, you'd still know what a goddamn nanite is in the future. We know what it is now.
And you're a robotics expert, or at least a robot. Yeah, there's quite a lot of those for the audience lines, but that one was especially obnoxious. Like, it would have been fine if Deanna was like, "Oh yeah," because that's literally not her field. But obviously they did just deal with them with Wesley. I mean, it's a nice reference to Wesley's thing, but it's also funny that they're saying, let's fight nanites with nanites, even though they haven't got nanites yet. It's weird.
But that plan's going to take 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
And that's all that might be left of the Federation in 2 to 3 weeks.
Which I thought was a funny line, but it's like, what? Okay. They never have any good plans, the Borg, ever. Like, ever. Not until Janeway. Janeway is the best anti-Borg ever in comparison to these crap people.
Oh, yeah. Squadra Course, $2. Okay, Olivia, that was damn funny.
Yeah.
Then Riker's like, well, I'm sure that Captain Picard would have something meaningful and inspirational to say right now. To tell you the truth, I wish he was here because I'd like to hear it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been difficult. You can do it. I can't replace him. I can take over for him, but yeah.
Oh, I feel like these lines are more appropriate if, say, a month had passed, not 13 hours. They feel a little... Again, I know 3 months have passed for the real world, but they feel a bit too somber. You know what I mean? For that little of time. Didn't quite sit with me, but again, close enough. Again,
Russell Archer.
More focused, which is good.
Russell Archer, $2. About Guinan, she had terrible advice in this episode. Yeah, and this is the next scene.
Oh, speaking of.
So good segue, Russell. Good job. Riker walks into the empty ready room and looks at the chair and says, what would you do? And then Guinan comes in and basically makes herself at home. Do you have time to talk? Well, actually, okay, I'm going to talk to you anyway. Picard and I used to talk every once in a while when one of us needed it. So what's on your mind, says Riker. A lot of people are not expecting to be alive tomorrow. They have faith in you, they like you, they trust you, but, you know, they're not sure you can save them. Then the whole thing, when a man is convinced he's going to die tomorrow, he'll probably find a way to make it happen. Anyway, you're going to have to do something you don't want to do. You got to let go of Picard. And he's like, maybe you haven't heard, but I tried to kill him yesterday. You tried to kill whatever was on that Borg ship, not Picard. And here comes the wise sage that is Guinan. Picard is still with us here in this room. If he had died, it would be easier, but he didn't. And then she goes on to say, you know, has he ever told you why we were so close? And no. She said, oh, well, let me just say that our relationship is beyond friendship, beyond family. And I will let him go, and you must do the same. There can be only one captain.
So kill the other one, because there can only be one.
There could be only one! It's a Highlander.
What do you think of this scene, then? What's the problem, then? What's the problem with this scene?
Well, it's almost over. This was his crew. He wrote the book on this ship, and she's like, well, it's time to throw that book away if they know everything he knew. Yeah. It's the only way you can beat him. It's the only way you can save him. That's your chair now. Which is a good scene. It's a fantastic scene, actually. I really like the advice. Because, yeah, he's trying to live up to... I don't know. It's hard to explain. He's worked under Picard for so long that... And the crew are used to the way Picard does things. What she's saying, essentially, is if you keep doing what's expected of you as far as from a Picard perspective, you're going to fail. Because they know everything that he knows. They have his consciousness. They know you as a result. And you need to mix it up a little bit. You need to think outside the box. So, that's kind of the
But you just agreed with the super chat saying it was bad advice, though. What was the bad advice?
I did?
Yeah, they said...
I didn't agree with it. I just said next scene.
Oh, okay. I thought you said I agreed, but I was like, well, what was bad advice then?
Oh,
yeah, she has terrible advice.
I agreed, but...
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I've nicely Guinan. Confused by the we go beyond family and friends, and what did that mean?
I have no idea.
I don't think they did either. Like, it makes sense for Data, considering she knew him in the past. But for Picard...
Well, I think they wanted to write something in the future, and they never got around to it.
Yeah. It rings a little bit hollow again, because it doesn't mean nothing. Like, it would have been nice if they'd said, oh, I knew a guy in the academy, or when I was a young boy. Like, it would have been kind of cool if next episode in Family they'd said, oh, I met Guinan for the first time when I was 4, in the vineyard. And you're like, wow, he's known her 80 years, or 60 years. That would have been kind of cool, but it's... whatever. But the way he approaches Riker's good. And I like I said, I like if this is the only scene where we get a sense of if he truly was leaving the show, was Patrick. And it plays really well, saying, you know, drop the book, move on to a different story. Season 2 will be Captain, you know, Star Trek Riker, because the Picard show is dead. It was done. Although, as I say, go outside of your box. I mean, that's hard to do, and also they don't do it, so it's a bit, you know, still a redundant conversation as well. It's like, you know, but also I think it's not just that don't act like Picard. It's you can no longer act like you as commander, because you're used to being you as commander, waiting for a captain to say something. But you've now got to be Captain You, who is Captain You. None of us know. You have to find out now, yesterday, you know, and just make decisions. Don't think about it, just do it, because that's the nature of being a captain. But this is probably the best part of the episode in terms of like continuity from part 1, because this is very much feels tonally a continuation of Riker's somber arc. So at least they kept that going. It loses all the Shelby stuff, but you know there is that continuation. There's not really a conclusion to it, really, but it does, at least it tonally feels about the same. Yeah.
Lieutenant Miles O'Brien, $2. Great advice. Be your own captain to save Picard.
Save by kill. is what she meant.
Fat produce, $5. The scene has the best use of a meaningful French horn motif in the series, alongside when Tasha asked Picard for a transfer to the Enterprise C. Did am I frozen again?
No, you're fine.
I'm just gonna wait until. Oh, now you're moving. Okay, Russell Archer, $2. Time traveler, probably super salty Picard lived.
Really great comment, and I think I was vibing this. Caboodlefish says, but Riker only uses conventional tactics 21% of the time. Yeah, that was the whole thing about that. So his box is actually thinking outside the box anyway. So even more redundant. But Stuart, we see the graveyard of ships.
And no life signs.
That was a good moment. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But did they assimilate anybody? Doesn't matter. But yeah, we see New Orleans, and we see all the ships Eagle must have been selling for years.
Well, we get the Tolstoy, she mentions, the Kushu, the Melbourne, which is the one that he was supposed to be captain of.
I think that's the Admiral's ship.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I thought that as well, but I realized, oh no, the way that it looks is like, oh yeah, the Admiral's dead.
Oh,
I think.
Gotcha.
Or both. They might take command of that. But yeah, it's quite a dramatic scene, and they just sort of move past it.
Yep.
And there we go.
Lots of ships, and we've talked about some of them, so there you go. We're not going to focus on the ships.
But it was really actually kind of lackluster,
But there is a Constitution-class refit hull.
Yep.
Secondary hull. Yep.
And this one is a little, again, they reuse the same stock shot twice, and just take that out of the foreground to make it look different. So
the exact same shot, just without the Constitution class.
So there's only a shot and a half of this. It's very lackluster.
But you know why? That was right before a commercial.
Yeah.
So somebody's yelling, there was a Constitution class refit there. No, there wasn't. When it comes back from commercial, I'll show you.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not there all of a sudden. It's like, what?
Yeah. But yeah, I remember last time you said this episode is about them missing the battle. The battle feels like shit too. So I'm not even going to give them credit for that. You don't like if they were fighting over the course of those 12 hours they were traveling there, and you kept hearing reports, and Beverly kept saying casualties are up to 10,000. You know, it's an afterthought. It's weird. It's really, really weird.
Yeah. Anyway, they find unusually strong eddy currents. Could be the way that the Borg went. So set a course.
Long range sensors. Medium range sensors. Why can't use them?
I don't know.
Yeah, why was that a line there as well? Like you detected them at the furthest sense of the range when you in last episode, and you could still talk to the Admiral within that range. So your sensors absolutely follow that range. What a stupid line was that? Like the Borg aren't masking themselves. They wouldn't do that. They don't need to do that. There's also non-lines in this episode that don't do anything. That waste time. It's weird, Stuart. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. So then Riker's like, so prepare your plan to separate the saucer section. And Shelby's like, hey, Picard knew about that plan, and he'll be prepared. They'll be prepared for it. And Riker actually says, I'm counting on it. So they
prepared for it is a bit of an overstatement.
Well, yeah. He has a special mission for Data and Worf, and a bunch of other people he wants to drag down to the battle bridge. So,
yeah, and this is a very abrupt turn from being we're doomed to I have a plan. It's an instant swap.
Well, it's that conversation with Guinan that.
Okay.
I didn't have an idea. Now, because I'm supposed to think outside the box, let's go with something that Picard would never have approved of.
Okay.
It's
so
that kind of jump.
Okay, so you think the original plan would have been any captain would have said kill Picard, even the Admiral said kill Picard, even Guinan said kill Picard because there's nothing you can do. But Riker's tactic at this point is screw that. No one would expect me to try and rescue Picard, risk everyone. We're probably all going to die. We should all die, but if we get Picard back, it's worth it. Yeah. I never put that together. So Riker's risking it all just for the sake of getting Picard back, thinking there might be something there, maybe with no evidence of any kind. But it's not what anyone would expect because it's a stupid plan. That's kind of the idea, I guess.
I guess, sure.
Because what was the original
I
plan?
wouldn't say it's a stupid plan. I wouldn't say it's a stupid plan. It's an unconventional plan.
Well, it's stupid for any future Borg episode. You know? Like, it wouldn't work any other time ever. It shouldn't work this time either. Because think about it, you know, Borg, like, you are a threat if your ships are attacking the cube. You're a threat. People, you be aboard, they know you're a threat. Like, there's no, yeah, they're a threat. Yes, okay, assimilated. What was the original plan that Shelby had with the source separation? Because I thought it was just more people
use it as a distraction
to shoot from different angles. Like, I think that was all it was. And it's like, that's not a plan, Shelby. Let's just get the saucer killed quicker.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then, Stuart, for some reason, the Borg cube drops out of warp. There's no reason. It's dropped out of warp so that we can engage them. No other reason. They're not Earth, they're not Jupiter yet, they just do it for some reason. And then Picard walks up to the... Lucas walks up to the thing because now they've engaged, they've now caught up with them. So the Borg deliberately stopped, waited for the Enterprise to catch up even though they had a 12-hour head start. The Borg cube stopped, waited, and got caught up with. Why? Sorry? That's what I mean. It's a very abrupt twist in pacing from, okay, there's no plan, it's going to be shit, to, let's do it, we're going to do it. And it's like, what? Why? We haven't set anything up. It's very strange. Very, very strange.
Jeff Jacobs, $2, 100. Sweet.
Yeah.
Of course it was Guinan's advice. Hashtag make Olivia Julius pay. 172 people watching, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't already. And thank you for watching.
And Medallion summarised my point greatly. Oh no! How will the Borg target 2 halves of one ship compared to our armada of Starfleet ships? Exactly. Like I said, it's a stupid plan. It makes no difference. The Borg go pew pew gone. It's a stupid plan.
Yeah.
But yes, the Locutus stops warp, turns on the view screen and says hello, and it's a very civil conversation between the new head of a Borg cube. Very civil, considering, and very friendly. Number one. No, it's very nice.
Yeah, and Riker's like, we wish to end hostilities. Then you must unconditionally surrender. We are prepared to meet and discuss terms. It's unlikely you're prepared to discuss terms. It is more likely that this is an attempt at deception. And then, come now, Locutus. If Picard's knowledge and experience is part of you, then you know that I've never lied to him. You should also implicitly trust me. Is that not so? Picard implicitly trusted you.
Yes, it's not so, because
Exactly.
you wouldn't.
Yeah. There are no terms. You will disarm all your weapons and escort us to Sector 001, where we will begin assimilating your culture and technology.
I'm glad he mentions assimilation, because they very rarely do in this episode. It's always about surrender. What does surrender mean? Okay, I surrender. Now assimilate me. Okay? What? Why? Just do it anyway. You know?
Yeah.
Because they don't know what the Borg are yet. Even though they've fully committed to them and assimilation, they don't know what they are yet. They haven't worked it out. And I don't understand why Picard's this, like... I meant to imply that the Picard brain is so strong it can outdo Locutus's brain. Like, he can most of Picard comes through, so he's allowed to be more chillaxy, chilling conversationalist, or is it just Locutus is a very weird AI and can be more friendly? Like, it's very weird tonally why, you know? Because literally, he turns away from the camera as if to say, nah, you're lying, bruv. Oh, yes, I'll let you convince me. What? What? Why is this going on? Very weird.
Anyway, they get a lock on Locutus. They can get him within 30 meters, somebody, whoever. And then we get... The Borg have adapted their electromagnetic field to prevent main transporter function.
Cool.
So, as expected, proceed as we discussed. And that's where they... Worf and Data get on the shuttle.
And I like the fact they can now block beaming, because you would think you do that all the time. Pretty important.
Yes.
And really easy. But I mean, it makes sense. You need to have the transporter frequencies, maybe.
Yeah. So he cuts off communication with the Borg cube and then says, Shelby, let's do the saucer separation.
And the cube just sits there and doesn't do anything.
Yep.
And Picard just watches them do it.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Then open fire all weapons.
But Stuart, did that work last time?
It didn't.
Did it work time before that?
And, well, no, and plus the Borg adapt, and they just fought 40 goddamn ships. So it would be even less likely to work.
Like, it's the most anticlimactic, shooty, fighty thing possible. Every time. Like, it's weird. They've just nullified any tension. Again. I know it's not the point, but it's weird.
Yeah. So the Borg tractor beam tries to lock on. They rotate field. Riker Alpha confirmed maneuvers. I mean, it is kind of underwhelming, but
yeah. And Riker managed to avoid one tractor beam. Cool.
Ooh, they did, yeah.
By
They're
turning
completely
left.
ignoring the saucer section,
Yeah.
as they should. Well, that's Riker pattern alpha, man. Turn left.
And down slightly.
Yeah. And then the saucer fires an antimatter spread, which looks completely pointless.
But it does look
I think it
cool,
is. I think
though.
that's the point.
Does
It looks
look
cool, but it looks like sparklers or firecrackers or Roman candles. It's just like, hey, look at us, we're over here. It's like a distraction.
Well, no, I took it as they're there to create a jamming field. So much information happening that they can't detect something inside of it. It's a flak field to then fly a missile through, if you can dodge the flak. You know, and it's probably the best effect of the episode. It looks cool, but it's again like, Picard, look, it's just shoot him, dude. You just killed 50,000 people. Just shoot him. Just no, okay. Just sits there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Borg are no threat. They're literally no threat.
Yeah. You move on to the shuttle scene. I gotta handle a message real quick for the mods.
Sure thing. But yes, and then we get a rather good scene, and a good creative choice, I thought. From their perspective, fly out from the shuttle bay into the spread, and in terms of, like, it's just 2 out of 7 on a blue screen, but it's super effective, and actually gives you more of a cool tension feel than normal. And I even launched from the saucer shuttle bay, and then see the secondary hull shuttle bay, which is fun. It's a good shot, actually. But again, Locutus incredibly ineffective, and we even see them shoot the tractor beam from multiple emitters, showing that they could tractor beam both sections of the hull at the same time, and yet they don't. Because previously they only used the single tractor beam, implying only one at a time, but they can do it multiple times. So it's again another sense of, well, there should be a threat here, but there's no threat. But then they try and get the shuttle through, but the Borg can detect this energy signal within the flak field, so they travel on no power. They get through their shields, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure. And then they manage to beam through there once they're inside their shields. Okay? With their emergency escape transporter, which is powerful enough to beam in through the Borg cube easily. And I love the line where they're like, we're in position, we're going to beam in. And Riker should say, I know it was my plan. Sorry, sir. Like, I know, it was my plan, Data. Hurry up. We shouldn't still be alive right now. Patrick's letting us survive. Picard's letting us survive. Yeah. What do you think about this whole scene, then?
It's a fun little plan, and I don't have an issue with it, really, except for some of the silliness of getting through their electromagnetic shield with the shuttle, which shouldn't really be allowed to be done, but that's okay. Other than that, I kind of like the idea that there's a lot going on all at once. It feels like a big cohesive plan, and then if you want to break it down and actually think about it logically, it's not very good. So it was fun to watch. It really was kind of like a heist movie kind of feel. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it kind of falls apart when you look at it.
It's because they didn't have the money.
And they didn't have a goddamn way to get out of this situation. So this is the best the writers could come up with.
Because how do you defeat, literally, they said to the rise, right, the Borg are going to go towards Earth, and they're going to kill the entire Federation fleet. Now you guys have got to defeat them and get Picard back within 21 minutes. And not scratch the paint, because we've got to be around next week. As they found the easiest, least logical, like, okay, I guess this, you know? And they beam aboard, and it's the same set again. It's lit better. That's what I like about this set. It's definitely lit better than last time. But they find a Locutus standing in front of the view screen. They shoot the guards very quickly. We get even more who the hell cares shooting Borg. Again, totally ineffective, no threat, nothing. And Locutus just stands there just like, oh, I'm not going to react at all. And it just feels really lackluster because you're thinking, this is the great threat. This has been years of build-up. This has been a real... And it's just, I'm just going to stand here. I'm nothing at all. It falls so flat again. It's just like, what's the point, you know?
This is one of the biggest problems with this rescue thing is the whole... Well, getting within 30 meters of him, fine. I guess that's easy enough, but... Yeah, there's just... And another thing, Worf goes after him. I'd send Data after him. Data's a lot stronger.
Yeah. Yeah, proved.
And,
yeah,
and it's... Yeah.
I mean, it's just absurdly easy. Like, it's no challenge at all. And again, the Borg, totally nuded in this episode. Having just said they destroyed our entire fleet, they feel nothing. It's so weird. And they just beam away. It's really easy. The Borg don't even have a klaxon saying they appeared. Given they're actually in a battle with the Federation, they should know. They should have sensors. And like I said, they come through the shields. The Borg cube, still connected to Locutus, fires a kill beam, which destroys the shuttle, killing Locutus. They didn't know they beamed them away. So after all of that, they were going to kill Locutus. After all, I guess they got the information. But the whole point was to be a conduit of knowledge, and yet they just kill Locutus, the equivalent of kill him. What was the point of that? Like, they don't try to beam it. They don't try and beam them off. It's a nonsensical moment again. What are you trying to do here, guys? Come on, you know.
Crassus puts in £5.
That's the guy from Descent. That's
Crassus. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
I
always thought the shuttle. Sorry. I always thought the shuttle leaving from what clearly looked like Shuttle Bay 2 or 3 and then flying past the star drive section was weird. Well, it did come out of probably 2 or 3, and it turned and went back.
Well, I assume it came out the top of the saucer. The saucer shuttle then went round.
It wasn't the big bay though. It was one of the neck bays.
It could still be the big bay, just the wall of the big bay.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it's not going to be a small bay, is it? Because the small bay's on the secondary hull, and they go past the secondary hull. They can't, like, the way they travel is not that.
The ship is separated at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So the saucer's this way, and they come round. They see it. Lots of shuttle bays.
But they wouldn't be on the saucer, those guys. I guess maybe it looked like they were in transporter room 3, didn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Because the whole point was that the Locutus wasn't focusing on the saucer, and they launched from the saucer because the saucer was firing the spread. That's why it's unexpected, because it's from the saucer, which is theoretically an whatever. But yeah, they get Locutus off, easy, done, and we get this weird shot of Riker's face, which is meant to be a callback to this like the first shot of like, look, he's focused. But I'm thinking, you're trying to show us, as the audience, hey, we got him, and all I'm thinking is, you know there's a Borg cube 1 second from it's going to kill you any second, and here you are looking like a smug git. It's like, they're just going to kill you all. Or assimilate you all. Your shields are down. And yet it's presented like victory, even though they're going to win in 1 second. Oh, I guess they're going to leave again.
Probably.
Why do they leave again? They just stole Locutus. And yet they leave again.
And Sean Craig Parkinson says, "Too negative, man. I'm off."
Okay.
I'm trying to be fair, but okay. So yeah, the saucer is basically screwed because they've had damage to their impulse drive. So they're disabled. And it looks like the Borg is about to increase power. So that basically, what Wesley says, well, the saucer's a sitting duck, and it definitely is.
Mm-hmm. But always was going to be. Like
But then it resumes its course.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
it's like, just beam him back over. You know, you could easily lower their shields and beam him back over. It's weird they don't. You know?
Yeah.
It's weird.
But then we got Picard, or Locutus, sorry, in sickbay, and his DNA is being rewritten. She'd like to study him more, but they don't have any time for that. So, yeah. Hope it goes both ways. If they got all his knowledge, maybe there's something that he can teach us about them. So, you know, wake him up.
It's a fair enough plan. It's just the most risky plan ever, you know? But all I couldn't help but thinking was, why doesn't Locutus just assimilate everybody now? Like...
Tubulus, because they hadn't come up with that yet.
But do you know what I mean? It's like, why don't you do you not care? You literally, they can't do anything to stop you, and you've also got your arms. They do not deactivate. So you, like, you're the best thing. Because talk about they didn't destroy Enterprise because they're not a threat. They just stole Locutus. They are a threat. Could you please disable them, please, Locutus? It's not difficult. God, can you imagine if you decimated Worf, how strong he'd be? You know. Amazon?
No, I don't think so. I think maybe one of the kids is here or something. I don't know.
Do you want to go check?
No, it's okay. No, should be fine. Sylvia's upstairs, so she's got it.
But I was quite surprised they awoken him. That felt like such a mistake to me. What do you think?
Yeah, especially considering he's still linked with the Borg, with the cube. Like he's on the ship. That's a huge security issue. And then later, like that's the thing with Borg. Later, they get more terrifying because once they're on board your ship, they can start assimilating your technology, just converting your ship into a Borg ship. And you know you can't get that out of your systems very easily. So it is a stupid idea. At least to do it in sickbay and not in a force field. Have a force field around the biobed. Have them in the brig. That might make more sense to bring them back to consciousness. But anywho, Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. Money for the cute, noisy doggos. Oh no, they don't deserve money for being noisy. Shitheads. But yeah, Locutus wakes up and you underestimate us if you believe this abduction is of any concern. And he chastises Riker for the plan. Picard would never have approved.
But Lyko says, you underestimate us even though you haven't killed them 6 times. So I think he's estimating you exactly right. Like, you can't say underestimation if you're not doing anything about anything. It doesn't work that way, Locutus. Come on.
There is no need for apprehension. I intend no harm.
But you do.
Exactly.
Why do you not intend harm, dude?
Maybe his nanoprobe tubes weren't installed until Tuesday.
Well, that's the thing. He wasn't obviously assimilated by nanoprobes. Otherwise, they wouldn't... That's the problem with Retcon. He's not assimilated the way every other Borg is. Clearly, because they take in... Literally, as soon as the Borg are destroyed later on, he's unassimilated within a second. So he's obviously... Like, the stuff in his... He's obviously just more like... Stuff attached to him is just being controlled by brainwaves, and he's got a bodysuit. Like, he's not really assimilated. They just got access to his brain. Which makes it also less powerful at the moment. He's not assimilated. He's just got cybernetic shit on his body. You know what I mean? It makes that a lot less powerful.
Yeah.
You know?
Jeremiah Johnson, $10. You guys aren't being too negative. You guys are being critical, which is what you're supposed to do with a review. I think you guys are doing a great job. Love your show. Please don't stop doing it. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And yeah, that's what a review is for. Not to be like, this is awesome and perfect.
And this is why you can trust us with Lower Decks, Picard, and Discovery. Because we're the same with everybody.
Yep. It's all good. It's all got good and it's all got bad.
Well, it's like the short, there's something wrong about Edward. People crucified it. We loved it. Because we loved it.
Canon faux pas, but it was fun. Yeah, it was a good episode.
Yeah, it was fun beyond that. So, you know, we give it credit where it needs to be. And this is an interesting, fun scene, but you kind of realize at this point that this is barely even Locutus being Locutus. This is just a dude chatting. Like, there's not that much Locutus, really. He's barely in this episode. This big epic Locutus! You're in a scene, basically.
Yeah.
Overhyped as all hell, really. And in fact, I watched the trailer for this week, and it pretty much shows all the scenes. Like...
Yeah.
Okay.
Erevik Sonder, $5. The Queen was there. She wanted to know more about humans.
Yeah.
Anyway, then we get a shot on the bridge using multimodal refractive sorting.
Oh.
He's detected subspace signals between the Borg cube and Locutus. And yeah, let's see. It's similar to a transporter beam.
Yeah, I didn't get that bit.
No, but that's why they need O'Brien later.
Okay. So subspace track to... Yeah, I didn't quite understand that.
So they're trying to... Riker asks, can we block them? Possibly. But we've witnessed the Borg, multiple occasions, we've witnessed the Borg removing key circuits from injured comrades, no doubt separated them from the group consciousness. The injured Borg immediately self-destructed. So cutting the link to Locutus could be fatal to the captain. So we have to find a way to reach him. And we must know what he knows. And so then she's like, microsurgery, I could do it. It would take a long time.
But easy. She does say there's no problem for me.
Yes.
The difficulty level is low if we can get the signals to stop.
But she also says there's no way I can separate the man from the machine.
If the signals are still there.
Yes.
If they're not there, it's easy.
And then Data speaks up and says, then perhaps there's a way I can access the machine doctor. Great idea. Ginkgo Yoki, $5. Lower Decks was actually one of the saddest episodes of TNG. Ensign Sito redeeming herself in the ultimate way. Yes. Great episode, though. Fantastic.
Yeah, this scene is the scene where, as the audience, you realise, oh, he's going to be fine at the end of the episode. And this is the moment where the threat is now past. We've got Picard back. It took about 15 minutes, sorry. Now we're going to slowly build towards the end. Already? And it's like, oh, okay. I guess we're starting to wrap down now. Because that was the epic scene, Stuart, the kidnapping him back. That was the big scene of the episode, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
That was the scene.
That's why Riker had the smile on his face. Like, we got the captain back. So if we're going to die as a complete crew.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Complete set.
It'd be nice if they at least shot them a little bit, Stuart. Just like damage them a little bit, please. Few torpedoes. Come on, Borg Cube. You killed 45 ships. Yeah.
We get a nice moment with Picard or Locutus and Worf, Klingon species, a warrior race. You too will be assimilated. The Klingon Empire will never yield. Why do you resist? We only wish to raise quality of life for all species. I like my species the way it is.
Two penises is the best.
Yeah. A narrow vision. You will become one with the Borg. You will all become one with the Borg. And then, they go on to say, Data, a primitive artificial organism. You will be obsolete in the new order. And they knock him out. And take him to your lab, Data.
Yeah. Yep. It just shows how stupid the arm prop is. I bet Patrick felt like an absolute twat holding it. It just looks ridiculous. Like, at least make it half as big. You know? Like, just... Yeah. But at least he mentions assimilation. But he's so friendly about it. You know? It's like, hello, I'm the Mormon missionary of the Borg. You know, you'll be assimilated or not. Hey. If you don't want to, that's fine. We'll do it anyway, but it's fine. Hey. It's all good. You know?
There's the easy way, and then your way.
Yeah. But yeah, super easy again. The little struggle. And then for some reason the Borg warp out in Jupiter's orbit, to then slowly go towards Earth to give us more time to catch them.
Yes. Jupiter Outpost 92 reported visual contact. No reports on effectiveness for the planetary defenses, but can't really believe that after what Wolf 359, And then what's the current speed until they reach Earth? 27 minutes. The soonest we can intercept, 42 minutes, sir.
Well, that shows that the Borg are really biding their time to go there, because the Enterprise is not as fast as it used to be, and yet they're barely caught. Like, they're barely ahead of them. So the Borg are not rushing. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And again, these are the Shelby scenes, Stuart.
Mm-hmm.
Just completely non-character.
Non-character. Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
It's weird.
Anyway, they message down to the lab. They've made the neural connections, and then they need O'Brien there to. Well, Mr. O'Brien is ready to process the Borg signal through the transporter pattern buffer.
Sure.
Anyway,
okay.
So yeah, it just hooks up the neural link, and I do like the headpiece that Brent's got on and the connection thing. I think it's really well done. It looks really good.
Yeah, it does, and it is good. It's good to use the set again after lull. It's a good set. And it's perfect for this sort of thing.
And then he goes on to say that at each stage of this 3-step process, Chief O'Brien was going to monitor my positronic matrix activity.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was doing the transporter thing. I guess they're do both.
Yeah. Do split screen. It's fine.
And the counselor is important because hopefully you'll be able to determine whether I'm reaching Captain Picard. So you'll have a line maybe.
You'll earn your paycheck. Yeah. Although it's interesting, if you look at the way Patrick's looks, he looks pretty good, but you can tell the makeup for his grey face stops at the Adam's apple, and then he's the same pink with a bit of splodge. They didn't even do a full body white, because I guess they didn't want to give him an extra 4 hours of makeup for what is ostensibly Who the Hell Cares. Speaking of Who the Hell Cares, these things attack and they destroyed, and I'm thinking, what a waste of money. You remember this scene as a cool moment in your memory. It's not. It's like they just killed 40 ships. Why are you bothering to show us this episode? Save your money, use it properly. Why are you doing this? It's not a good scene.
But Rick Sternbach designed these.
I know, it's the best guy ever, but it's just such a non-moment. Again. It's
so impressive though, just see them boom, 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 done. Just the Borg just strolls through.
But why don't we see that with 3 Mirandas? This is not because they destroyed the entire fleet.
Stop the Miranda hate, man. Why do you got to see them suffer?
Wow, it's not me. It's the Dominion. And it should have been there should have been a little task force of another galaxy and 2 Excelsiors, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's at least one other galaxy at the Battle of All 359. At least one, you know.
So the Enterprise gets to the solar system and drops out of warp.
Really far away.
For the love of Christ. I know you're not supposed to do warp within the solar system, whatever. I think this is an emergency that warrants leaving it on for another minute and getting right to where you need to be.
Yep. Because the next shot we see the Borg cube literally in orbit. And so in those 10 minutes, they've managed to beam down 5,000 drones, assimilated 10,000 people, and Enterprise is spreading. It's, again, tonally all over the place of threat. It's like...
So, this isn't an emergency that warrants warping in a solar system, but every episode of Discovery...
If it was Discovery, the Borg cube would be here and they go... You know, it would have been fine if this was the moon, right? That would have been fine, you know? That would have been really cool, actually. Now, I kind of like the logic of them not warping the solar system, but that would have been a great... Rather than a technobabble about the graviton bullshit beam, have them say have the Borg cube have to do duplicates. They don't care. They're killing everyone on the road. Along the way, that's fine. Have Riker say, LaForge, how close to Earth can we get? Not close, Commander. I want to be within this many kilometers of the Borg cube. That's not recommended. Well, I'm telling you anyway. Looks at Wesley and says, okay, got 4 minutes to work out a new way of warping into a system. And he's like, I got it. You know, that'd have been kind of cool, but it doesn't quite work this way.
Yep. Ginkgo Yoki puts in $5. Love the Miranda. Still, the Cheyenne is greater than the Miranda.
It's pretty good.
So they're proceeding with the final link, and there's a whole bunch of technobabble here, which is fine.
But it's not logical babble as much as it could be. They're just kind of saying stuff. You know,
I've got it all written down. I just don't want to have to read it all.
Yeah.
The processing, data, processing, standby, processing. He says that quite a bit. Anyway, so yeah, he's got access now to defense, communication, navigation. They're all controlled by a root command implemented into each drone. And that's when Picard starts attacking the thing he's in.
Yep. Does nothing, though.
Security guard gets knocked over the railing.
Don't know why he doesn't use stun first, but okay.
And then Data overpowers him, which I like. Like that scene.
Yeah, that's good. But what is the guy good trying to do? Punch Picard or shoot him the phaser?
I have no idea, man. No idea.
And when he gets the arm taken off, Picard's face like,
yeah. Oh, you broke my arm.
I'm neutered. Which is kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of cool actually as a little moment. But it's just so easy. You know, the Data gets through this thing very easily. Picard doesn't bother stopping him really in any effective way. And they get access. I mean, this is the ultimate computer pathway wireless network. And Data's like, lol, it's fine.
Well, Data, I'm picking up increased neural activity in Captain Picard, localized in the prefrontal and parietal lobes. They may be trying to terminate their link with them. Negative. Subspace signal configuration is unchanged. What's causing the increased neural activity is unclear. No, it's not. It's him. It's Picard.
And why is it Picard?
I don't know, because Deanna said so.
No, I just mean, why is Picard suddenly, of all the people ever, able to undermine Borg drone-ness?
Because
he can overpower the drone power.
Because he had his hand broken off by his friend.
Ah, okay. Like, it's again really abrupt. Like, Picard breaks through with no reason. They don't drug him. They don't do anything on him. Like, he's the exact same as he was in Beamed Aboard, and yet Picard's now strong enough. I guess he's more naked. Fine, sure, he's more naked. But it's just like, it's that easy. The Borg are so easy to defeat. They can break the assimilation, and you can de-assimilate them easily. They're no threat.
They should have had Susie Plaxton back as Dr. whatever her name was, the Vulcan, doing a mind meld on him at the same time, trying to bring Picard out.
Oh, you mean like Thanos a little bit?
Yeah.
Worf's got his shoulders, she's thingying, and Deanna's like using her, like, I will get through to you, Captain. Would have been kind of cool, yeah. But it's very abrupt, very quick, very easy, no struggle at all. So there's no tension, you know?
Yeah. So all of a sudden the Borg are worried because they have access to Picard.
Yep.
Mr. Data,
they stop not assimilating Earth.
Yeah. Mr. Data, you have 2 minutes to figure out what you can do with it.
It's a good line. I like that line.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a whole part. He's part of their collective consciousness now. Cutting one off would be like asking one of us to disconnect an arm or a foot. We can't do it.
And you would if you were in danger.
Yeah, like the guy in 147 hours cut his own arm off with a goddamn jackknife.
Do you know how many people the Borg Queen killed to get rid of Symbiote Zero people? Lots. They do it all the time. Yeah. All the damn time. He's also a special dude. He's also fresh. Ugh. But the shot on the Borg cube on Earth is great. But then you're like, well, where's the Earth fleet? Where's Space Dock? This is the busiest place in all of whatever, and this would be the last stand, wouldn't it? There should be hundreds of ships here. You know, there's nothing. So they tell Data, is it possible to plant a command into the Borg collective consciousness? And she goes off on a whole thing, and Riker cuts him off. Riker's hair is different. It's bugging me. Just saying. Anyway, what command should I attempt to plant, sir? Something straightforward, like disarm your weapon systems? It's not straightforward at all.
Not really.
Like, as soon as he said it, you should be thinking, oh, I should have thought one word.
Yeah. So the Borg start. Yeah.
Well, they just move away from Earth and they fire them instantly. And then, Stuart, again, cheap. Lots of reused clips. All the battle clips get reused again with no Earth in the background of any of them. It's the exact same clips, exact same areas, to a T. It's like, oh,
they fire off phasers, they fire off photons, and then the Borg start using their cutting beam. Or was that earlier?
No, they do. Even though shields are down, the cutting beam does nothing for a couple of 45 seconds. They're not assimilating anybody. They're not beaming Picard off, which they can do with shields
And they
down.
use the cutting beam in the exact same spot the last episode, and there's no visible damage on the ship, even though they caused a lot of damage on the ship last time.
So it's hard to feel it's hard to feel tension if the ship is damaged by the Borg, fixed in the same episode, fights them again, doesn't damage. And then you get this awkward scene on the bridge, and then in this room where they're currently being sliced and destroyed, and yet they're having a nice conversation in the room with no just you shouldn't have a 3-minute conversation when you're literally being destroyed by the Borg right now.
Sleep, Data.
Yes.
Sleep. Oh, he must be exhausted. No, I think he's giving me an idea. Anyway. Oh, and yes, Riker's plan. Holdo maneuver much. Lock coordinates onto the Borg cube and get ready to engage warp. Yeah.
So you think Ryan Johnson saw this like right before? They're like, oh,
what would happen?
Because I mean, if it's all you can do, although to be fair, I would have said do self-destruct instead. I mean, warp is a risky thing. Self-destruct literally next to them is a bit more effective, I'd say. It's a big explosion, because destroying the ship is different to matter, antimatter explosion controlled, or controlled, non-controlled. Yeah, Borg very ineffective, do no damage, and Shelby does nothing, no plan.
No.
Yeah.
And I love how it's right at the point where he's like, "Engage." He's just about to say engage, and they're gonna kill themselves. And nope, we got them. Put them to sleep. They're in a regeneration cycle. No electromagnetic field. They're at minimum power.
And it's like, oh, that was easy.
You need the big button. That was easy.
Yeah.
So they're going to send Shelby over to confirm that the Borg are in fact asleep. But before they do that, Eugene puts in 250 rubles. Earth fleet will arrive on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And Crassus puts in £5.
Thank you.
Remastered, yes, but perhaps they should have remastered it with some more ships. Even spliced some DS9 fleet footage in without the new ships, of course.
Yep.
And Ginkgo Yoki, $5. Warp drive doesn't work like that on Solo.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep. Because you're right, you go into subspace, so I'm sure the initial burst maybe before you go into a subspace bubble, but at that point you're just going fast into them. It's not exactly the most strong thing ever. But yes, they beam over. And it makes me laugh that Shelby says, she walks in. She's on the Borg less than a minute. And Shelby says, the Borg are asleep everywhere. Wow, Stuart is yeah, we go. Yeah, Shelby says, the Borg are asleep everywhere. And it's like, Shelby, can you do at least one more deck worth of investigation? Like, can you look at one more corridor? Your evidence is so circumstantial here. Every time we go on board a Borg ship, they all look at their high bed, except you see one randomly walk around. Like, it's just such a weird pace issue. It's like, they're all asleep in this one corridor in a 3-kilometer wide ship with 10,000 drones. Sure, Shelby, sure. Oh, Stuart's internet, what you doing? Warp collision and self-destruct, maybe. Remember the E round the scimitar, yes. People would have complained if they had more. See, studios who should have done a 2 version, do remastered and like remastered extra. Because this is if it's the most epic battle ever and such, they could have done a bigger version, especially as they have all the Eaglemoss models, or at least have them now. It's the only corridor they have. Have some compassion, Commander. Hey, they have a corridor and a T-junction, or a cross-junction. Yeah. Stuart's in the think pose. He is. The nukes for Canada. Oh, God. That is dramatic. Data, why don't you send them a synth message? Russell Archer.
I'm back, finally.
Russell Archer says, Data, why don't you send them a synth message and introduce them to despair? That was plan B. So I was just saying Shelby just assumes they're all asleep with very little evidence.
This is it's really bad. Shelby the Enterprise, it's true. They're all in regeneration mode. They're dormant, sir. And the indication how long it'll be like that. Checking. Worf does a tricorder thing. Tricorder readings are fluctuating rapidly, Commander. So she jumps to the conclusion, there are indications here that their entire power net's about to feed back on itself. It's like, okay, you got that from what Worf said? Goddamn, that must have been like the super secret, class at the academy where you can tell people to put force fields around people with a look.
Some of the micro expressions.
That's the telepathic training class. It was an elective, I guess.
And so, out of the blue, we go from being the Borg the ultimate threat to Earth to, because we made them sleep at the same time, they're going to blow up in about 45 seconds. And it's like a switch. Are you telling me the Borg don't have any sort of redundancy or surge protectors?
Yeah.
And wouldn't, if they're all recharging, the power be drained because they're all being recharged rather than surge? I don't know why it's exploding, Stuart. Like, I remember them telling Picard to make it explode. That's what I remember.
I don't remember that. I remember the sleep thing.
Well, it didn't happen. So, I mean, after the sleep thing, I remember there was a second command. No, I was wrong. That never happened. I remember it happening, but I guess it didn't.
James well, it was your very intelligent brain trying to wrap it around what happened here.
Yeah.
James McGill puts in $3. Being a deaf guy, I thought he said P data. P. And Ginkgo Yoki, $2. Stewart in the thinker pose.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
At least it looked good. Better than a dirt face.
Dave L. A self-destruct? Or what? Some sort of safety protocol? Or did the Queen order it? Yeah, there's better reasons than feedback.
Yeah. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. He's back.
Yeah.
And then there's no way to know what the destruction of the Borg ship is going to do to him. Plus, and Data says we should also consider, using the Borg ship, the Borg and their vessel for further examination.
Although all I could think there was, they're going to stay asleep forever, Data, and they're going to come back and kill you all. So,
yeah,
let's not let them, because you can't stop them. You can't.
Yeah, I don't think so. Data, separate yourself from Captain Picard. I love that line.
Yeah.
DX2069, $5.
Hey, you can see.
They should have played the music that drove Troy mad as the command. So, that would have been funny. The series ending with everyone dying.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get the away team back, and once they're back, move to a safe distance, and then all of a sudden they take off and kaboom, boom, beep.
And we don't see Earth. I guess they got far enough away from Earth. Because all I was thinking is, isn't the debris going to hit Earth? Because they're pretty damn close since they were in orbit of Earth, but I guess not. And it's just like, oh, that was the Borg threat, eh? Huh. Wasn't a Borg threat, was it?
Not really.
And then, to my absolute surprise, within 1 second, Captain Picard has returned. The Borgness has stopped, showing he was not assimilated ever, because that's not how assimilation works remotely. Like, literally, they don't even wait one scene, Stuart. He walks out the thing and says, wow, number one, that was a dumb
bit
plan.
of a headache.
It worked.
Yeah.
Like, awful editing. Awful. Why did they think that was a good idea? It takes away all the tension again. Why did they think that was a good idea? Because then aren't you implying that if they had removed any drone from the base, from the Borg cube, they would have been like, oh my god, where am I? Because if it works for him, it should work for everybody. Why aren't they, God, it's so weird.
Crassus puts in £5. If Kelvin Timeline Kirk was in command, he would have fired on that cue as it was exploding.
Yeah.
So yeah, then we get the ready room shot. Earth Station McKinley is going to be doing a refit of the Enterprise.
And that was the wrap-up, guys. That was the Borg wrap-up, by the way.
Yeah.
We already summarised it. We're now past the Borg. Sorry, go ahead. Just wanted to reiterate the... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're estimating the refit for the Enterprise is going to be 5 to 6 weeks. And then they both say, come, when the door chime rings, which is nice. And she's, you got nice, friendly Shelby. Request permission to disembark. And anyway, they're talking about Riker's career, and, it's nobody's damn business. With all due respect, my career plans are my own business and no one else's. I would say they're Starfleet's business, but, I could be wrong.
But it's basically the audience, we're going to ignore this. Riker's promotion, stop thinking about it. It's over. We're not going to mention it again for years. Okay? Don't mention it.
Yeah, he doesn't keep the captain. He goes back to commander, which I don't know.
But it's cool though. He's still wearing his 4 pips. Captain's wearing his 4 pips, and Shelby's got promoted to full 3 pips. So everyone's it's a pip-filled room.
It's very pippy. So yeah, then they set course to Station McKinley for refit, and then you get the almost drinking tea scene and the ominous music. Like they're still in touch with him,
Or something.
and he stares out the window.
But my question, Stuart, why is Picard back on duty after about 20 minutes?
Because he was never assimilated.
Yeah.
He was just
Converted slightly.
Yeah.
Like, what were they thinking as the producers? Let's show him in uniform at the end, fine, and back in command.
This is what I don't know, but this is why the Borg decided to go with nanoprobes to assimilate people, because this shit don't work.
Yep.
It doesn't take right away.
Nope.
It takes too much time.
Yep.
You need to come up with a faster method.
And this is why they invented a queen, because any drone, you can control the entire cube in infinitely any second, do anything. You need a queen to override the individual drones. So yeah, I mean, I can get that as a learning curve, all that stuff. But it's like, oh, we're ending it. I bet you, right? If they'd shown this ending to the writers of the first part, while they're writing the first part, they'd say, "Oh, we're going there. Wow, that's. Oh, okay. Oh, I guess nothing really mattered then, huh? Okay."
Nothing really matters. Ginkgo Yoki, $5. Picard staring off, remembering what happened to his Locutus. Guilt starting to really kick in.
Yeah. It's barely played.
He's putting on a brave face. Yeah. And after everything he's been through, he should not be on duty for a long time.
He should have been in
or at least,
bay, And
it would make sense going to the next episode, because that's family, where he takes some time off. So they shouldn't have had this scene with him back in... They should have been in sick bay, but they needed to have that at the end of the episode. Like, he's back. He's still the captain.
Yep.
So.
No, you're right.
Anyway.
It's to tell the audience we're fine, but it was a big mistake in terms of narrative drivenness. It really shouldn't have been this way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then a nice visual of the Earth and the Moon and the Enterprise, and nothing else. No work bees, no dry docks, no space dock, no ships, no
just
anything.
in the distance.
Nothing on the Moon. No Lake Armstrong, and New Berlin, Tycho City. Where are they? They're not visible on the Moon.
I mean, I've wanted to see a space dock fire all torpedoes for years now. It's like, that thing should be able to take on a Borg cube. Do you know how big it is? It's bigger than a Borg cube, Stuart.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's big, and it would have a lot of weapons. Yeah.
Anyway.
Actually, yeah, and Sirius is right. The only thing, really, Locutus ever did was kill Sisko's wife. That's the only thing he really truly achieved the mention thing, if you break it down. for the couple of days he was.
Well, guys, it's time for you. You got to put your scores in.
Yes.
If you want to super chat them, I'll read them out. If you just put them in the regular chat, Samuel will read them out.
Mm-hmm.
But
and at 131 likes, I want to see 160 likes, 160 people watching. So do please click like. It is free. It is easy to do. It just click it. Just click it.
Click it. All right. So I do think this is better than I remembered for part 2. I remember it being so anticlimactic, because the whole big fire has no effect, doesn't do anything. Then they just get him back, and it's a very simple process of, at the end, having a few bandages on his head, and everything's good to go. That being said, there was quite a bit of good acting in this one, good character development, and some good writing, I think. A lot of technobabble, and especially the scene with Data and Picard in the lab. A lot that we didn't read out, but there is a lot of stuff in there, and I think it was well handled overall. That being said, there are a lot of huge plot holes in this one, and it's a very quick wrap up into the extent of making him back on active duty pretty much immediately. A few issues there, and the fact that Riker, even though now he's been promoted to captain, doesn't go on to be captain because they need 40 new captains, presumably at this point. I don't know. That's a little bit weird. You got to keep the team together, I guess. But it's all right, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, not as bad as I remember. I do. I'm gonna say whether it's better than the first one or not. God damn. As a whole piece.
Well, can I ask you this before you say that? Does this episode would it make you lower the score for part 1 a little bit? Realizing maybe its flaws as a general story. Because remember, you gave it out of season 3 a 9 out of 10 in comparison to the Enterprise, and it's 8.5 out of all TNG. You know, which I still think is pretty generous. And so think carefully now reviewing this one, because you gave that a 9 and an 8.5. You know? There's not much higher to go.
For season 4, I mean, it's got to get a... We haven't done any in season 4. I would say probably... Well,
Stuart, hold on.
Honestly, I'd say at least an 8. I think it was good enough. Okay. For all of TNG, though, I'm going to also have to give it probably 7.5 or an 8. I can't really decide which. It's good enough. It's one of the classic episodes of Trek that needs to be watched, unfortunately.
What would you have given it for season 3?
Season
in
3.
essence, it's a part 2 of season 3.
True.
Gut reaction.
Gut reaction is a 7.5. But so I was trying to think.
A lot less good than part 1.
Yeah, like I really appreciated the build-up and the tension in part 1.
Okay. But still, I mean, that's, you know.
And so it's such a ramp up, and then it's like easily solved.
That's the entire 2-parter. I mean, everything's easily solved.
I don't know.
Even the Borg killing people is easily solved, easily killed. I think these episodes aren't very smart. And it feels like to me what Generations and All Good Things was. All Good Things is incredibly clever, integrated, you know, raising the bar. Generations was very sloppily done and not what, you know, it should have been better. Best of Both Worlds, this part is just like, they just sort of had to put it together and be done, you know? It doesn't feel like there's any real passion making it. You know, it's kind of like a Picard Discovery episode. They didn't read the draft through a few more times. They didn't have time, you know?
Yeah.
They should have had a better basic story. They should have had a better plot hole reason. They should have given more thought, more time for Locutus. They could have had Locutus destroy the ships. They could have had so much more, and they wasted most opportunities they were given. You know?
Yeah. Well, give your scores, and then we'll do a poll. I want to do a poll in the chat.
Okay.
Whether people like 1 or 2 better, because a few people have been asking for that. So.
Yeah, I mean, for this season.
But in 1 or 2, part 1 or part 2.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for this season, it's impossible to say. I honestly, at this point, like, I don't even know what's in the season. We haven't done it. What's this season? So I'll join you with 8, but I think we'll both reserve the right to change that by the end of the season. I think that's the best way of saying it, right?
Yeah.
All of TNG, I'm not going to look back at my other score, but I think all TNG is a 6. Like, it's a bit better than average, but not by much. It's filled with plot holes and problems, and it's only a bit better because of Riker's acting, of one effect, 2 effects. But there's not really any good scenes. Or dialogue, really. It's not great. And season 3, it would have been... 6.5, maybe? For season 3. Which is then weird what I gave part 1, then. A 7. Okay, I mean...
Yeah, the poll's starting now. 1 or 2.
Yes.
Just answer with 1 or 2, which part you like.
Because I like the focus of this one a lot more. But the first one had a much more grand feel.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, like I say, the focus is good. It feels like a solid crew. It feels like a solid team. First one, Shelby's biting off Riker for no reason. You keep having to say, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? They're wasting so much time. This time they're wasting technobabble. They're not wasting time, but they're inventing reasons to not do things. They're inventing reasons to not win. They can't how do you fight an unbeatable foe? Turns out they just don't shoot you at any point. That's how you win it's not a smart episode, you know?
Everybody's saying part 1 pretty much
Yeah.
is better.
But not by much, you know? Neither are great. But Stuart, read out the Super Chat scores, and then I'll read out the non-Super Chat scores. Because now is your chance.
Ozzy puts in $5. This episode gets a 7.5 out of 10. Data has skeleton hands. Crew in his lab. 10 out of 10 for Trekyards. Skeleton hands. Wow, skeleton hands are everywhere. Jersey at $5. 8 for season 3. 7.5 for TNG. Rushed story brings it down. It does, however, show just how capable of commanding a shipbreaker is, which I do like. And...
Okay, pause. I do think this should have been a 3-parter. No, seriously, wait for it. Part 1, setup of the Borg, setup of Riker, they take Picard. Part 2, the Battle of All 359, and they have to deal with one drone on the ship because they disable it, and that drone gives them the secret to destroy the Borg drone, the Borg ship, and you get to see the battle. Part 3, save Picard. You know? Like, the fleet managed to disable the Borg cube near Earth, but there's no more ships. The fleet bought them time to get Picard, and now you've got the budget to do 3 full parts. You know, and you get to see Picard be accused be awesome. This should have been a 3-parter, absolutely. It's wasted a 2-parter, honestly.
Fair enough. That thing you can't find, $5, 7 out of 10 for season 3, 6 out of 10 for TNG. Part 1 was definitely better. And Eugene, 250 rubles, 6 out of 10 for the episode itself. 8 out of 10 for long-lasting effect on TNG.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, this one falls into a bunch of different categories as far as importance. And, yeah.
Although it's weird when you start to think about this in comparison to Star Trek Picard, where they show him in PTSD of being on a Borg ship, and you're like, all he did was have a few things that stuck to his body and then stand in a place for a bit.
And was responsible for the death of the crew of, like, hundreds of people.
But that's not what PTSD'd him. What they show us in Picard. That wasn't... I agree, that's a more dramatic thing than what he was given, but, you know. Anyway. Let's see. So, scores! Non-Super Chat scores are from people.
And Brian Kesterson, our moderator. That is an old Eagle Moss link, an old Eagle Moss discount code. Doesn't apply anymore. It's updated in the description. There should be a new one.
Nice. So 7.5, 7, 10, 7.5, 9, 7, 7.5, 7.5. 8 out of 10. 7 of 9, 7.5, 7.5.
We got Fleet Boss Whipback, $2, 7 out of 10 for season 4, 6 out of 10 for TNG. Still best TNG cliffhanger.
Well, I think All Good Things is the best Trek cliffhanger. But it's just an infinitely better episode as well. So, Fahad 10 out of 10, DX 10 out of 10. Wow, okay. 7 out of 10. 10 out of 10. 6.5, 7.5, 10 again. You got 2 in for some reason. Yeah. But it's definitely the best 2-parter since Farpoint, which is a bad 2-parter. So it definitely beats that one, but it's not a very high bar. But yeah. And look forward to the rest of the season. We're going to have a lot better episodes than this. I think Family next, the one obviously we're going to skip because we've already done Family, is a much better episode, actually. Brothers, I like a lot. But isn't the next live, Stuart? We're going to actually do what we remember about the season.
Yeah, it'll be tomorrow, I guess. Yeah, because Thursday and Friday are kind of out for lives for us, unfortunately.
Yes, so tomorrow then we're going to do a What We Remember live, where we get to embarrass ourselves gently. Where we'll take it in turns, giving our what we remember, and you guys will vote who wins the pitch, Stuart or me, on each one. Always a bit of fun because I've seen a lot less than you have, so you tend to win those. But what we give in details is really interesting, how we differ. And
it's fun.
Just don't know because when you sort of explain it, you realize, oh yeah, yep, don't remember as much as I could do. Yeah. So, guys, last super chat.
Super chat slot. Sorry, guys. I'm kind of underpowered right now. Not a lot of energy.
That's a somber episode. You know?
I don't know if you guys noticed, but... Oh, I missed one of Jarzia's super chats, apparently. $5, 8 out of 10, or 8 for season 3, 7.5 for TNG. Rush story brings it down.
Mm-hmm.
I did read that one. It does show, however, how capable of commanding a ship Riker is. I did read that one.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
Oh, there's another one. Jarzia, $5. Picard probably insisted on getting back in uniform himself. The last thing he wants is to be seen as weak by his crew. He's hiding his trauma. Maybe. There, I read it, Jarzia. Are you happy now? Should have been a 4-parter, says Ryan. I would have liked to see the Battle of Wolf 359, though. From a couple different ships' perspectives would have been great.
Yeah. Well, someone was saying that, people wouldn't like to do an extra remastered one because they would say, "Oh, it's not the original." Just have on the Blu-ray as an alternate version, because they released this as a movie cut, and in the cinema, I believe, as it's the most iconic one. Like, how great would it have been to see actually remastered with new effects to bring it up to a more modern standard? I don't think they could re-record with the actor of the Admiral, but I mean it's a battle. You've got new people you could have audio of. You saw First Contact, it was all in audio, and so it wouldn't take much when that Admiral is on the view screen shimmering. You cut to the battle, you cut to Picard in stock footage looking at the Locutus, and you see ships getting destroyed. You see, you could have done a lot with it to really make it like an event. And how many people would re-buy it on Blu-ray as the digitally enhanced director's cut for Blu-ray, like the TNP director's cut was. They added new effects. They redid the movie with new effects. I think we'd all buy that, wouldn't we?
I would.
And then every time the Enterprise D fires phases, it actually does damage to the Borg cube, like it did in the original time, but it just doesn't mean anything because they can regenerate and adapt. I'd have bought that. Yeah. I'd
buy that for $1.
But guys, final super chat. We are waiting. Or 4 likes. You know what? Either 1 super chat or 4 likes. There you go.
Ooh, that's a good compromise. I like that.
Yeah, so 146. I think we can do it. I think you sir, you madame, you it, you them, can do it.
It.
Well, yeah. I believe in you all.
Do you though? Do you really? I don't think he does, guys. Oh yeah, I apologize, guys, that I'm not super lively today. My bad.
Hey, we got through it. You're allowed to be not as whatever at the end. Oh, we got our super chat before the 150. So like, yeah, we got there instead. Stuart, read out. And we go.
Hold on, I'm doing something first. I'll read it in just 5 seconds.
Okay, well, can we get 1 like? Come on, guys, 1 like in 5 seconds. Come on.
There, I just gave you a like. All right, so we got Matthew K with $5. Here you go. Well, thank you very much, Matthew K. Sweet Paw Swiftback.
You missed Olivia.
Oh, what?
Yeah, she was sniping and then you missed it.
Oh, Olivia, $1. Sorry. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. Going to pay for that 150. I know we can. Oh yeah, we got it. It's fine.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, thanks guys so much. See you all tomorrow for the more chill. What the hell is in season 4? See you then. Bye, guys.
All right. See you guys.